But what's up, Moor? What's up with you, man? What's going on? Bro, you
hold on, give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah. Look at my dad's DNA. He's deceased. Well, you could kind of you probably won't see what's right here. You probably can go and look into your DNA and find out what you inherited from your father, and go from there. I'm not sure if that's possible, but it should be possible. I don't know what I'm talking about. So let me go ahead and show you what I got here. Let me show you what I got here. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you my 23andMe results, right? All right. So as you can see here, if you guys can see my screen, just let me know. But as you can see here, I have, as you can see, I have sub-Saharan African at 74%. 58.6% is West African. 28.5% is Nigerian. 17% is Ghana. So it breaks down each of the different populations there. Then if you look at my European ancestry, which I got part from my father and my mother, you will actually see that I have 24% in total, and you can see all my percentages from there. It also shows that I have some trace ancestry as well. That comes from places such as Asia, Filipino, East Asian, Native American, Indonesian, Thai, Myanmar, Malaysia, and things of that nature. So I have some trace ancestry going far back related to parts of Asia. I have some significant that comes from European, and I have a good deal of it that actually comes from sub-Saharan Africa. Now, what does this mean? Now, if you look at this is what is comprised of what's called my autosomal DNA. Okay, this is my autosomal DNA. When you look at your autosomal DNA, which I'm able to pull up, let's do see, I don't know how this can actually show this accurate. Some way to do it by chromosomes. Okay, here it is, right here. All right, so as you can see here, yeah, I do got that in me. Yeah, I do got that. I do got that Scandinavian. But I want to show something here. What is this? That's odd. What is that? Central Asia. Okay, so as you can see, this cover comes from my mother's side, right? So this is Central Asia, South Asian. This comes from my mother's side because of that side of her that came from that area. But if you go to all of me, you can kind of see how this is broken down. And as you can see, these are the 22 pairs that people always refer to and the mixtures that they have within themselves. So if you look at each of these, as you can see, my autosomal DNA comprised of everything that is actually presented here. Everything that's actually presented here. Now, if I am an Israelite, what I should be able to find within my autosomal DNA here, I should be able to find significant admixture of those people from that area on any percentage, but you don't. And for the vast majority of us African Americans,
real quick, which area should you find admixture with? Just so the people.
Is that what you said now?
Which area should you find admixture?
You should find admixture within the Levant. You should find admixture within the areas of the Middle East, as well as going down into Yemen, Syria, Israel, Lebanon. We're talking.
So why in the autosomal and not like in the Y, for instance? Right? Like, so for instance, like correct me if I'm wrong, because weren't you saying on Berean's show that you would expect to find with the limba a high admixture of African autosomal DNA, right? Because they intermix with people of Africa, correct?
Right.
So why should I expect to find a large admixture of Levant autosomal DNA?
Because that's the claim to the limba's story, right? The claim in the limba story is that they have a significant amount of Middle Eastern DNA or J haplogroup DNA. This is a fact, right? Up to 50% of the limba people are part of that That's another person want to come in. 50% of the people that part of that lineage have haplogroups in admixture that comes from that area. Now, when we look at the limba, they're a mixture of both the ones who claim to be Israelite or Jewish that have that admixture, and there's a good portion of them that are just straight African or Bantu people, evidenced by their DNA. So when we look at the distances from the limba, and then if you look at your autosomal DNA, if your autosomal DNA does not include anything from the Levant, that goes to show that your distance from the limba is only based upon the African lineage, not the Middle Eastern lineage.
So, for instance, so like with the Ashkenazis, right? They have a vast majority of their autosomal DNA is European, right? Because like, so the same thing happens in all directions, right? Like if they go to India, if they go to Africa, if they go to Europe, if they go wherever, they take from women from amongst those populations and admix heavily with them, right?
Yep.
We see that everywhere, right?
Yep.
So what percentage are you saying would be necessary for any Jew in any direction, north, south, east, or west? Well, what percentage are you saying needs to show up in the Levant autosomal?
It could be anywhere from based upon how far apart that the admixture was. It could be low or it could be high. But you should
give me the low end right quick. What would you say the low end?
3-4%, probably 5%.
Okay.
And then the high, of course, being anything above 15%, 20% or so. And
okay,
you also show markers on the Y DNA to show, or the MT DNA to show that you have some lineage to those people.
So just out of curiosity, why just the Levant?
Because that's where they originated. That's the migrational pattern. If you look at everyone's migrational pattern or diaspora of the Jews, it's going to mainly come from that area, which we call Canaan. Right? That's the Fertile Crescent. That's going to stretch from the Tigris and Euphrates River going all the way towards the Levant and that area up in and around there. Now, when you look at African Americans, we do not have anything that shows that we're related to anyone in the Levant.
Okay, so real quick though, like so with the limba, for instance, right? They talk about that they went to Yemen for almost, I think Kohen Hamidishe, I had a chance to talk with him twice for roughly about 5 hours altogether, right? And from what I understand, and I may have this number wrong because it might be in another spot, but I believe he said it was like 1,000 years almost. So, or a long, well, let's just say it's like 500 years, okay? Just cut it in half right there. Like, so that's a long time period in Yemen and whatnot, right? And not only that, Yemen, there's a lot of migrations that come from Yemen to West Africa, Yemen to North Africa, South Africa, etc. Whatnot. Like Yemen was a huge Jewish kingdom, etc. Like, you're familiar with the Emirate kingdom, right?
Yep.
And so like that was like the Jewish hotspot. You know what I'm saying? Like outside of Israel was Yemen and whatnot, right? So there's two, like, so there's people that talk about. There's for instance, like there's Muslim scholars that talk about like Ibn Khaldun and whatnot, right? He wrote books on history on a lot of different people. Like, he talked about the Berbers, right? Talked about a migration from Canaan, but also talked about a migration from Yemen and whatnot, right? They talked about people identifying as Jews coming from both sides, right? So I can understand what you're saying. Like if I'm trying to connect myself to the population that came directly from Canaan or whatnot. But let's say I'm coming from a population that was outside of Canaan for hundreds of years or whatnot. If I descend from them, should I still expect to see like a 3 to 5% connection with the Levant?
Yeah, you should either still find it within your autosomal DNA or you can find it on your haplogroups. But here's the strange thing: you wouldn't have a population that claims to be an Israelite to be related to them to have zero DNA from that area. Would you agree?
Say that one more time, because
you wouldn't say that if anyone's claiming to have any or from that area will have. Okay, so if you talk about the Yemenite Jews, what are the haplogroups among Yemenite Jews?
There's like what, 6 different ones?
Okay, so what are they?
At the top of my head, I can't call it.
Okay.
EJT, I believe those are the most prominent ones.
Yeah.
So E, right? E3.
E1B1B,
Okay, right.
T,
J1,
yeah.
R1B, right? Correct.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the percentages, but I know those ones.
So let me say it like this, Kevin. Like, so let's say I take a test, like one that's more specific to different Jewish DNAs. Like, for instance, like My Heritage, right? Like My Heritage, their DNA test that they have the markers for the Yemenite Jew, the Ethiopian Jew, the Mizrahi Jew, the Ashkenazi Jew, and also the North African / Sephardi Jew. Right? So if something, let's say it comes up like 10-15% Sephardic Jewish for me or something like that, right? Is that not a direct connection to the Levant, or are you saying I also need to see that plus like 3 or 4% mitochondrial DNA going to the Levant?
I don't get your question.
So what does the Jewish DNA itself connect? Like, are you considering that Levant based DNA or no?
Yeah. So for instance, okay, let's look at the whole diaspora of the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
What are the haplogroups that are mainly around in and around the area that we call the Levant or the inland of Canaan, right? Is IJ migrated out of that area, right? We had I that went north, and we have J that stayed in and around the area, but still went in the areas such as Europe and also in the North Africa, correct?
Sure.
So now, according to the story of the Lemba, their oral history says that they were a group of Jews that came out from what? As refugees from war. They came down, they settled down into Yemen, correct? Yeah. They say.
So they say that they were ousted. Like, so again, like, so the story that Kohen Hamadisha tells us that he tells a story from Ezra 10 that when they came back from Babylon, that they claimed descendancy from the people who were admixed from foreign mothers or whatnot, who got pushed away from Israel and whatnot.
Okay, so Babylon. What was the situation in Babylon that some of the Jews left? What was the
they were coming back from captivity.
Okay, so that would be the refugees, correct?
If you want to say it like that, sure.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Right. So
but that's not what they're saying. They're not saying that there were refugees that went down. They said they were cast out.
What's the definition of a refugee?
They're saying that they were cast out. Do you understand the difference?
No, I do understand this difference, but the origins of that.
So I'm saying that they're not saying that they went to Yemen because that they were war refugees. They're saying that they went to Yemen.
Right. That wasn't what I said. I was telling the story from the beginning. There were refugees. The Babylonian captivity displaced them. Right.
Sure.
Okay. So if you're a displaced population because of issues of war or invasion, what is that? What do you call?
Got you. So I'm trying to understand your point.
Right. So that was my point. You was trying to say that they're not refugees, but I'm showing you refugees is linked to them being displaced by the Babylonian captivity.
I'm getting their story straight from their mouth, right? Like, so if you want to take me, so you're saying that they went to Yemen because of refugees. No, I'm clarifying what they say is that's not what they got.
Okay, so go ahead and continue to tell. So you're telling your story, right?
No, I'm telling you what they say.
No. I think there's some confusion here. I'm telling you from the beginning. I'm saying the diaspora of the Jews.
Sure.
You're talking about the Lemba, correct?
I thought we were both talking about them.
Okay, no.
You guys are talking about the same thing, just different terminology.
Takes on it, right? So I'm talking about way back on 6th century BCE, right? That's what I'm talking back from that origin. 6, 7 BCE. What time date are you talking about? Just
same time. Same time period.
Okay, so what was the situation going on with Israel at that time?
So again, when they're coming back from Babylon, right? The way the Lemba tell the story is that they were cast away from the Israelites on a whole separate thing. Not that all of Israel went to Yemen, but they were cast away on the Ezra 10 situation. That the foreign wives and the children of the foreign wives were cast out. So there was a migration that went from the people coming back from Babylon, separate from them, like going to Israel, etc. They were going from that to Yemen because they were cast out based upon their lineage or their mother's lineage.
Okay. I'm trying to see what your point is here at this point. I'm trying to see what your point is.
I was just making sure that people are correct in understanding that they ended up in Yemen because they say they got cast out from Israel, right? Not from being war refugees in Babylon.
Okay, no, that wasn't the argument.
It was a small technical point, bro.
Right. Okay, so Go ahead and continue on with the point.
There's no point. I've already stated it like 10 times. How many times I got to say it?
No, bro. You started off by talking about them being in gaming, correct?
Right.
Right. And then we were talking about the DNA, right?
You were talking,
So,
and I literally just corrected a point. That's all it was. So you got a point. You got it.
Bro, there was a point that you was making. I don't know if this was before homeboy got in here, but you were talking about what percentage do they have to have from the Lamont, right?
Right.
And I was giving you a lowest percentage that could exist in them or a highest percentage that could exist in these people, right?
I wasn't making a point at this juncture. You were actually talking. That's what I'm saying. I just made a small interjection and it turned into this long side stream.
Right. Okay. So what I'm saying is that if we talk about the story of the diaspora of Jewish people, right? I'm going back to the 7th century. Now, you say that they're not called refugees, but then you say, well, according to the Limba, but I'm not talking about the Limba. I'm talking about the Jewish diaspora during the 6th and 7th century. You decided to hone in on the Limba and saying that no, according to their story.
What's the point of the conversation right now, Kevin? Well,
I don't know. You asked me a question. You asking me why?
No, I didn't ask you a question. Like, so I asked you a question earlier. Then you went on to a whole nother point, right? And then all I did was I made a small interjection because you did say Limba and refugees, and all I did was correct the concept. That's all it was. And now on the side street that I'm not leading this charge. You are, right?
Okay, no problem. So let's do this then. If you go back and actually look at that is why I'm making my claim that they should have some markers or admixture from that area because they've been in those areas. That's it. Now, the question is, if we have African Americans who are claiming lineage to these people, we should see the markers within our populations, correct?
Right. You said a low number, 3 to 5%, correct?
Depending on how we're looking at it, you could say 3 to 5% autosomally. You should see some markers on the haplogroups, whether it be MT haplogroups or you're talking about the paternal haplogroups. You have to look at the haplogroups themselves and the mutations that they take upon. If you look at African American males, what are the majority of them? They're E1B1A. We know that comes from EV38, from the highlands of Ethiopia down through sub-Saharan Africa. They do not have any markers within the E1B1A marker of West Africans that show any lineage from that area. No markers. If you look at the majority of the female maternal groups, which is L3 in the cases that we're talking about, or L0, L2, and L3, they themselves have no Shemitic admixture at all. Now, when we're identifying the Limba as being of those people, we're looking at the percentage of those who carry the Y haplogroup and intermix with those who had the L3 to create those group of people that we could test them genetically and find within them samples that come and can be traced back to areas such as Yemen or even further back to the Levant or Canaan. What I'm saying is that in order for us to make a claim and say that we're Israelites, we have to find the same markers that we're finding in other Jewish diaspora groups, which we do not.
Don't disagree.
Okay, so then now tell me your disagreement. Why you disagree?
Did I say I disagree with anything?
Yeah, so go ahead and make your point on why you disagree.
Hold on. When did I say I disagree with anything?
Hold on, let me correct that then. I apologize. What was it that you did say?
What makes you think I disagree with anything? Just off top.
No, I'm trying to get understanding of what you said just now. What was it that you said?
I'm trying to understand why you think I disagree.
So you said that pretty quick, so I didn't hear you. Did you say I disagree? Or
no, I literally came on trying to get understanding, like I always do.
No, brother, I'm trying to get clarity on what you just said. After I concluded my point,
I said I don't disagree.
Okay, cool. That's what I want to get clarity on. I didn't hear that because I guess the mic went in and out or the audio went out. I didn't hear that part. I just heard the disagree part. So that's why I responded the way I did.
Okay.
So, all right, if you say you don't disagree, then I guess there's no other point to be made.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. If you're claiming that you have Israelite DNA, there should be some Israelite marker that you connect.
Correct.
I got no issue with that.
Right. Absolutely.
None whatsoever. It's a very fair claim.
Joshua, did you have something? Or?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what group of Jews do you believe have the most Israelite DNA autosomally? I have my own opinions. I just wanted to hear yours. But.
I will have to look at that because I don't know whether to base that on the coining factor or if we're talking about just the J haplogroup within itself. I know that they said that Ashkenazi has least among some of the other groups. I do know that groups that are in Sephardic or Portuguese Jews or any of the Yemenite Jews or Aleppo Jews that are in Syria, they have a significant percentage of them. The Lemba themselves, they have a significant percentage within them. But what we could do among all these common groups is that we could link them with some form of markers and autosomal DNA that will relate each of these people together.
Gotcha.
But as far as who has the most and stuff, I never really looked at and compared who has the most and who has the least. I just heard.
Oh, okay, I got you. Because I'm pretty astute in the in the Hebrew history and Hebrew diaspora. I was just seeing if you. I'm kind of new here. I didn't know like how much in depth you were, but yeah, Ashkenazim have the least though out of all. They're pretty mixed with Europeans, specifically Southern Europeans, Crete, people from Crete and Italy is what Ashkenazim is, what their main mixture population is, and of course you have Khazar input as well as Hebrew men or Hebrew mixed men married Khazars or etc. depending on the person. But Jews from Syria were very strict. Different communities were stricter with their intermarriages and how much they intermarriaged. And you brought up Jews from Aleppo and Jews from Syria. I didn't look at the DNA, but I know historically they were pretty strict on marrying non-Jews, not being allowed to. So just based on my estimate, based on just my hypothesis, it would be them. I usually go by proximity. I think Jews from North Africa, Jews from the Maghreb, Jews from paternally, I'm part Iraqi Jew from Babylon, from Nehardia, the city of Nehardia. Paternally, my grandfather. Autosomally, I never got a DNA. I have my own opinions on DNA. I think an Israelite is one who keeps Torah. I don't think it has much to do with DNA, but that's I think there's a more of a spiritual and religious aspect to it. But just talking about, I am interested in genetics too, and just discussing it. I would say Jews from the Middle East, Mizrahim, Yemenite, Maghrebim, I would say probably have the most autosomal DNA from the Israelites.
So we do that Ashkenazi, they do say that it's in amongst Sephardic, they have E1B1B, J2, and J1 among those people. I know you say that autosomally, it could be wrecked because they existed in the area for so long and did a lot of admixing that it could have gone down. But what we're still able to do, I guess, is look at their haplogroups and see how those actually traced out and fleshed out. So you said that you said that paternally you're Jewish because of whom now?
My grandfather's from Nehardia in Babylon in Iraq.
Okay. So let me ask you. So did you grow up going to synagogue? Did you actually practice Judaism?
I'm Messianic.
Okay. What is your opinion on African American claims of being Jewish? I'm interested to hear that from your perspective.
As long as they're respectful, as long as they're true to the words of the Torah of what the Most High would want us to be, it doesn't bother me. I don't really care. I could care less if you're Muslim. I could care less if you're Muslim. But as far as I know, you asked me this, but if you're true to the words of Messiah and you're true to the words of Torah, I think it's I think people make DNA a bigger deal than it has to be. Honestly,
right. So
I don't think God cares. I don't think I think being righteous, I can name many things that are more important than DNA and how I view people. Right. It's kind of weird going around asking people what's your haplogroup to me and whatever.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I will also go further to say that if you look at the Christian perspective, or a lot of us, or some of the ones that I know, it's more of a spiritual sense of understanding that you're a part of Israel from a Jewish sense of keeping the commandments of the Most High God and accepting His Son, which you say you're Messianic. So you accept Yeshua HaMashiach,
yes,
as being the Messiah. So those are very important things to me, and I will be in agreement with you. And I will also say that if you look at Romans 11, it does make that claim as well, that if you believe and you follow God and love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself, according to what Yeshua has taught, then you are actually grafted into the root, the vine, which is Christ, and you are part of true Israel. Now, let me ask you a more specific question in regards to that. Now, what would you say about African-American Jews who take and make that claim, but use it as a racial edge to say it's about blackness?
I'm not going to get, I'm not going to get involved in anyone else's affairs, man. I know you want to really hear my opinion. And I really don't have
I feel that way.
I don't, that's, I said what I said. I believe the spiritual aspect. If you want to add a racial edge to it, man, that's, then I wouldn't consider you in alignment with me, but that's, do your thing.
So I'm eternally descended from Sephardic and Maghreb Jews. Right?
Maghrebi? Oh, cool.
Yeah, from a pocket in a newly found pocket in northern New Mexico, southern Colorado. Right?
Oh yeah, the crypto Jews.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool.
People been living like 500 years or whatnot, right? And so, what I find very interesting about this is that like nobody gives my mother's people guff about identifying as Jewish or whatnot. Right? They were even given, like my mother's people were even given the ability to go back to Spain and get Spanish citizenship, and then also from there get Israeli citizenship, right? And they don't got to take no DNA test to get it done.
Yeah,
it's just off of say so.
Mm-hmm.
It's just off just the mouth game. That's all it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's giving them any kind of energy. When I talk about my people, like no one gives me any of the same kind of energy that they give like other people claim to Israel. And I find that to be extremely intriguing. Extremely intriguing, because whether they are or they're not, what does it matter? The scrolls tell us not to argue over lineage anyway.
Yep, Titus. Yep,
that's correct.
That's on both sides. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe you're correct in that. So let me ask you this more. So what you're intrigued by is that even with your own lineage, and you knowing that you're Jewish, and Joshua, you knowing that you're Jewish, both of you guys actually acknowledging your genetic basis, you see that this whole issue is a waste of time. You feel like it's like
that's how I. Yeah.
So if my people claim I was rocking with the War Machine, right? So if I got people claiming that there's like at that juncture, you don't gotta prove it to me, bro. I don't even care. At that juncture, we're talking about doctors. Like, so I say this all the time. If you got the nerve to raise your hand and say you're an Israelite, that means that you're volunteering for the hardest job in the world, right?
Exactly.
You're volunteering to be, whether you're the natural seed, you're claiming to be natural seed, or you grafted in, right? You're volunteering to be a light to the world, right? Light to the nations.
Mm-hmm.
Be a living manifestation of the ways of the Most High. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter about lineage at that juncture. It matters about putting your hand in the dirt, getting your hands dirty. You know what I'm saying? Doing work. Right? That's what, like, to talk about lineage don't even matter to me, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous to me. On almost like exactly. in terms of having to prove it to somebody. Right? If you make the claim, cool. I'm not tripping on it. I could care less. But at the same point in time, if you say that you are, I'm gonna hold you to a different standard when it comes to doing this work.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So I don't expect. So for instance, right? I would expect different from the grafted branch than I do from the natural branch on that one, right? If you're gonna make it, if it's gonna be a big deal for you, I'm definitely gonna hold you to a different standard or whatnot, right? 100%. But if you're the grafted branch, right? That's when I really like. I try to remind people about, like, don't boast against the natural, right? Like be careful about the whole conversation, because like there's like the whole bit about talking about about lineage goes on both directions, right? Like I'm not like, because who cares if I'm Jewish? It don't matter, right? Am I righteous? Am I not righteous? Because if I'm Jewish and I'm not righteous, I'm about to catch it from the Most High.
Exactly.
Absolutely, and the point that you're making is something that we harp on a lot within our circle. This is something that's very important to us. But I think that I look at the situation a little bit differently than you do. Now, I'm not saying that you guys are incorrect in the way you view this, because absolutely. I even made the statement myself. If you say that you're a Jew, okay, fine. Now just go out there and do the work now. Be a Jew now. Go out there and be a light to the Gentiles, as you should be. But what we see going on in the community is not that exactly, right? What we're dealing with is a group of individuals who they take that name, not only defame it by teaching wrong doctrine, but put a racial energy behind it.
Put an address on it.
Say that again more. I didn't hear you.
I said put an address on it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like just pretty much just making it like this is what it's meant to be.
What are you talking about? Put an address on it.
What are you talking about?
Who's putting the racial thing on it? Put an address on it.
Hebrew Israelites, American Hebrew Israelites.
All of them?
No, not all of them. Not all of them. Particular ones do it. And the most common ones and the most popular ones are spreading this message around. And this is the thing that I'm against.
Okay. I'm going to put an address on it. So are you saying that like Dante and Sister E and Teo and all them that they're doing?
Oh, you talking about names? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right, absolutely.
So explain the race part that they put on it for me.
For example, you have interactions with them as far as talking about what we're allowed to do. They will talk about it as being a black thing. And what they do, they talk about it in the sense that this is a machine that should be against white supremacy. And it views the racial issue from the perspective of Black Americans and the plight that we go through in this country.
Give me an instance.
You said what?
Give me for instance.
For instance, as far as an event that showed that, or for instance, as far as their ideals? Oh, sure. Okay, sure. So let's take Abu, for example, who's talking to them, asking them questions about some of the claims that they're making doctrinally.
Shout out to Abu right quick, because he got me dying, because he got everyone thinking that his name is his real name. And
well, whatever. I mean, that's how I know.
They don't understand what it means in Arabic. It cracks me up every time. Go ahead.
Well, that's fine. I mean, that's what's being discussed is this individual person.
No, Abu's laughing right now. That's all it is, because he knows what I'm saying. Shout out to Abu. Go ahead.
So basically, he reaches out to Dante, and Dante responds back to him saying, "Why are you involved with Black business? Don't be involved with us. Go find someone Black to talk to us." So what Dante is doing is that he's making this exclusive only to Black people, and then put upon it this gas of hate that only Black people will, talk about white people and talk about how they used to be our slave masters and this, that, and the other, and have this hatred towards white people that's not even warranted on that level when we deal with the scripture. Now, you can correct and preach what is righteous, but to tell someone that because they're white, they need to shut up or display some type of racism, that's not cool. Or to go out there and lie and say that because they're urban apologists or they're white Christian, they have no dealings with the Bible and this, that, and the other, they need to be put away and they have an agenda. And starting all this racial contention.
Okay. Let me ask you a quick question so I understand what you're saying. Like, so in terms of like the natural branch, grafted branch concept, right? Is the natural branch not allowed to have a natural branch conversation?
Well, that all depends on whether you're saying they're a natural branch or not. The argument itself is included with presuppositions, right?
Okay, so they claim that they're the natural branch, right? Like, so just based upon the claim, they say that they're the natural branch. Are they not allowed to have a natural branch conversation?
Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. The claim is not the contention. The claim is not the contention. The contention is, well, let me put it like this. The claim is the contention because of what the claim is married and associated with. For example, if you just had a group of people who say, "Oh, I am Jew," that's not where the contention is. If you say that you're Israelite, which I've been saying for years, that's cool. Just be an Israelite. I don't know how to prove that, or I don't know how to disprove that, but this is what needs to be done. The reason why this argument has gotten as far as it has is because you have people from that side who claim that they're Israel practicing and teaching things that are anti-Bible and anti-doctrine.
So this is what I need to understand real quick, because I heard Cherry say the same thing, and I'm not quite clear on it, so I might not have caught it. I might not have seen the doctrine yet. So what are they teaching, right? Specifically, like those four people. We can even throw in like Pastor Kelly with them. What are they teaching that is anti-Bible? Just so I understand.
Some of them come from ideas and they're intermingled. It's not just those four people. It's a whole group of people.
Okay, I'm talking about them four. I'm talking about them four right now. It's just one.
What do you mean about those four? Like,
So
talking about
what are they teaching? Because I put an address on it a little while ago. I said I want to know about these people, right? So because they're the topic of discussion on a lot of things right now. Because I feel like, so if we were talking about like Sakari or like ISUPK or whatever, I'm like, no, I'm with you. They teach all kind of stuff that's not that's against the Bible. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Right. So let's
we can bring up doctrines and all kind. You know what I'm saying? Like we can go specific.
No, the argument in the fight against One West is already evident. We already know what that is.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to understand.
Being real with the conversation that's going on right now, that came from the lineage of One West teaching. It didn't come from one's innocent view of them identifying that is as Israelite and then carrying on with the objective of doing what the Bible says when it comes to being an Israelite. That's not the lineage of that thought. The lineage of that thought comes from One West teaching. And if you look at the group as a whole, there's an intermix of One West teaching up into the identity and linked into the identity argument of them calling themselves Israelites.
Let me try to clarify my point. Like, so last time I talked to G-Con, right? Like he brought like the 400-year concept, right? Which I thought was, so if somebody's talking about any kind of eschatology, I think that's, once they put it on the table, yeah, you can scrutinize all day, right? I thought like he had some criticisms for the 400-year prophecy that were you can come at like any criticism is legitimate at that point, right? So when I hear people talk about like stuff that's against the Bible or whatnot, I want to know, are they talking about just about the 400-year prophecy? Are they talking about like Israel being in Africa? Or are they talking about others? Like what are the specific doctrines you're talking about? Because I might have not caught them. You feel what I'm saying? Because I haven't caught anything that's drastic to the point where I'm like, oh man, like I've seen me and G-Con and whatever have like debated camp people before, right? Like the One West type people, you know what I'm saying, on stuff like salvation and all them type of things, right? I'm not running into them concepts with like the Sister E's and Dante's and
that's why I disagree with you, and I think that you're blind.
So I'm asking you to point it out to me real quick. That's what I'm saying.
Right. That's what I've been pointing out to you. I'm pointing out to you that when you see the racial response from them, for example, I brought up some of the racial things that's been said out of Dante's mouth towards Abu. I shared with you some of the racial things that's been said out of their mouths towards people of other races that want to get involved in the conversation. These aren't conversations about, well, this is a Jewish thing, we want to discuss this in-house as you portrayed it. What these are blatant insults racially that goes against what the Bible actually says. The Bible says to love your neighbor as thyself. Wouldn't that be anti-doctrine?
So real quick, just to clarify, like, so you got people like I'm hearing them all saying like repeatedly, like we don't want to deal with anybody but our own people.
No. See, that is you're blind. So you're telling me that you haven't seen any racial insults from that side, especially from Dante, the very person that we're mentioning right now, towards anybody else of another race who were concerned in the Bible?
Give me a racial insult.
Okay. You said give you a racial insult.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what you're saying is a racial insult.
So
I've heard insults on both sides, and like I told Sister Cherry on her channel, I don't approve of the name calling on either side.
Okay, so are we talking about one's nature and what they?
So when you're saying racial,
no, hold on, more. Are you talking about one's inclination to say something out of pocket or get into their flesh? That's one thing. When you're talking about something that is married to the ideology, that's another. And when I'm telling you, you're not listening. You're definitely not listening, bro. And this is something that you need to probably go back and do some research on. If you look at the lineage of the teaching that comes from out of Israelite teachings, a lot of that stuff comes from One West ideas. Now, there are those who we can deal with that don't deal with those voices that come from One West.
Why are you wasting my time right now, bro? I'm asking, what did they say? So you're saying that Dante said something about Abu racial. I'm asking you, what did he say?
He says, get out of here.
What racial insult did he give it?
He said, you're not black. You need to stay out of black business. That's not racially driven, you saying.
So here's what I'm saying, bro. If they're all saying that we want to deal with our own people right now, but they don't want to. They're all saying that they don't want to deal with urban apologists right now, right?
You're not making any sense.
That's why I asked you the question. That's why I asked you the question earlier. Is it not okay for the natural branch to have a natural branch conversation?
No, see, now you're twisting it. That comes with the presupposition. Because think about it. the claim to them saying that you say, is it possible for the natural branch to deal with a natural branch conversation? If they're the natural branches. If they're the natural branches, yes, I will say that it's okay for them to have a natural branch conversation. But to assume and make claims that they're the natural branch, and then go off and antagonize other races of people because of who they are.
Okay, so who are they antagonizing? You're saying a lot of big stuff. Who were Sister E and Dante, etc. antagonizing?
Vocab alone. That's an example. Abu, that's another example.
Based upon their race?
Yes. Where have you been? Where have you been? No, bro. No, listen. You're blind right now. So you're
I'm not blind. I'm in the thick of this. I'm in the middle of this. I'm hosting a debate between these people. What are you talking about?
Let me ask you a question. Are you telling me that you've never seen comments from Sister E and Dante towards vocab and Abu saying
so check this out.
Oh man, you're gonna keep doing that, bro?
Check this out. If you start challenging me on my lineage, what do you expect me to come from my mouth, right?
What are you talking about?
What do you expect to come from me? If I say I'm Sephardic Jewish, you say prove it, right? Why would you say prove it?
No, again.
So you just started off like they got to prove that they're Israelites. Why do they got to prove it?
No, listen, because you need reading comprehension. What you just inserted that the question
I need reading comprehension.
Listen,
I've never scored lower than 90% on reading comprehension tests in my life.
It's 3 a.m.
I set records for reading comprehension in my state.
Okay, bro, listen. I'm talking about you have comprehension. You're not comprehending what I'm saying, and it's late. So forgive me for saying that. I'm comprehending
everything.
Listen, bro.
You just said they got to prove that they're Israelites. Why they got to prove it? If the scrolls say not to argue over lineage, why they got to prove it?
Listen, man. You're not hearing me.
Ain't no one challenging me. You ain't challenged me yet.
All right, bro. Listen, you're not hearing what I'm saying. You're assuming the way you're describing the conversation is if they're coming up to talk about their race. And I'm telling you, these aren't the type of conversations that spark off a racial response to these people. Vocab, for instance, is not coming up to them and saying, prove that you're an Israelite, and then they have a problem with it, and then therefore that's the response that they get. The approach by people such as Vocab Malone, Abu, and other people who are of other race, other than black that are in the UA community, is that they come up asking questions about what? The doctrine. For example, salvation.
So you and
following the law.
I was just talking about DNA for the past couple hours because it had to do with doctrine?
What are you talking about? No, the reason why we did this hangout is look at the title of the show. What is it?
And what were you all talking about on Berean's channel? Like, was it about doctrine or DNA?
It was about DNA. In that specific topic, it was about DNA. But you're missing the point of what we're talking about the whole contention. Bro, what are you're confusing yourself.
Hold on. You really think that the smoke between the UAs and the Israelites in America have nothing to do over DNA, over lineage? And them claiming that they're Israelites? No,
bro. When we began this conversation, we talked about DNA. You guys concluded that it didn't matter, and I said it didn't matter either. I explained to you that my contention, however, is those who use DNA as a foundation to make claims that are racial and based on hatred. And that's why I have the issue and why I contend about this. You then said, well, if there are natural branches, don't they have a right to deal with things on their own? I said, well, that's a presupposition because the assumption is that saying that they're Israelites in the first place. And I'm telling you, why is it that we have an issue with it? Because you have a group of people who have yet to prove the identity of the people, assuming an identity and practicing wickedness.
Anybody saying an Israelite is presupposition, period. Anybody claiming Jewish is presupposition, period. No one can prove it.
Okay, but so you're saying to me that
no one can prove it right now, bro.
We somehow no one can prove it.
No one can definitively prove that they're like
right. So in order to back the DNA debate is on a separate. This thing has gone so far, and yeah, I am tired of the conversation, but it comes up when people say things that they're lying about. So we deal with this whole conversation stuff is just really dealing with lies and this, that, and the other.
Okay, so
now overall,
just to understand what you're saying. Just to understand what you're saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. So if me and my mother's people want to have a conversation that's just between us about our history, our lineage, and we don't want no one else involved, that's wrong.
That's not what the contention is, bro.
Okay, so help me.
That's not what the contention is.
Okay.
Again, the contention is when people of another race ask foundational questions about doctrine. The response from those people who claim that are Israelites is usually racial and hatred at base. For example, when Abu or vocab alone asks a question in regards to doctrine, the response from Dante and others that's a part of his camp is that vocab is a racist, or vocab is anti-Semitic, or he hates black people. Unfounded stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Let me ask you this question. No, bro, let me ask you this question.
No, go ahead.
Should vocabs or Abus or anyone else who's of other race other than black, when they ask biblical questions based on doctrine, should that response be met by racial hatred?
It should be met by people who want to interact with them.
Okay, so I'm asking you the question again. Does it require racial hatred response?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I have yet to see any.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That's your ignorance. You're saying that there's no
I'm not ignorant. I'm not ignorant. We have a difference of opinion.
Bro, listen. Right? So you're telling me that
I'm not ignorant because we have a difference of opinion. You understand that, right?
No, you're ignorant because you say you have not seen something. So therefore, it's something you do not know.
I'm saying
right?
we're looking at the same thing and we're calling it something different.
No, you're saying
yes.
Okay, so wait a minute. So
I'm looking at the same statement. The same statement you said that Dante made towards Abu. Don't offend me, bro.
Okay, so if you're saying they don't offend you, then I'm sorry, that's called blindness to me. So you telling me the statements that you said
that's called a difference of opinion in the adult.
No, bro,
no.
Listen,
that's called a difference of opinion.
Listen. So you're telling me Dante and their claims on vocab and Abu being racial and hatred in nature, you don't feel that they're
that's your opinion.
No. That's what I'm asking. Okay, so you feel that they aren't.
I say we have a difference of opinion. Like
I'm asking you, do you think that those things, the claims and things said to Abu and vocab were not racial?
So I'm saying if Abu and vocab want to have a conversation with people, they should talk to people who want to talk to them back, right? So people like Pastor Kelly, etc., all of them, they don't want to talk to them. Now, check this out. When it comes to the conversation about the scholastic conversation, I agree with a lot of stuff that vocab and Abu talk about, right? I feel like on a scholastic level, it should be handled on a whole bunch of different ways, right? However, not everybody involved wants to have that conversation, nor are they obligated to. Right? So if they say we don't want to talk to y'all, that's not a racial thing. But I said that we don't want to talk to y'all, bro.
No.
We want to talk to us right now.
Listen. See, okay, so let me ask you a question. You host debate talk for you, right?
All day long.
Okay, have vocab and Dante Fortson, have they participated in debate with one another?
No, not on my channel, no.
Not on your channel. Okay, on Berean's then. They participated in a debate, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if they participate in the debate, how then within the debate do you negate to deal with the person when you already agreed to the debate?
State the question one more time.
Okay, how is it that Dante would accept the challenge from vocab on a debate regarding doctrine or either false prophecy, but then turn around and say, I don't choose to deal with you, even during the debate?
You can choose to do that after interacting with the person, right? So I just talked to Dante about the concept, right? No, hold on. I just talked to Dante about the concept. Right? I told him, like, I flat out said, right? I think that y'all should debate these people on the pews, being that you're debating them in the court of public opinion anyway. It's happening, right? You might as well just go on the clock anyway, right? Dante's like, no, I think debates with that community are pointless. I don't think it's going to move the chain in any direction. I was like, you know what? I can respect that. I was like, I'm a debater. I feel like there should be debates, right? However, like that's not everybody's lane. I was like, your lane is something else. I respect that, bro.
So wait a minute. So you're saying that even if someone communicates with the other and they set up a debate and they're having the debate, they could choose within that debate whether to deal with them or not?
Yeah, bro. If I don't, so check this out. If I don't like your energy, right? I don't got to deal with you after that. And I might not know your energy until I do like that.
That's backwards thinking, man. How could you accept the debate and then choose not to debate?
You're saying a lot of stuff like ignorant and backwards and blind, bro.
No, it's not backwards,
you need to start choosing your words a little bit more carefully, bro.
Bro, what you're saying is nonsense, man. It's straight up nonsense.
Okay.
Let's just
if it's nonsense, then you have to talk about something.
Hold on, these are the facts, man. These are the facts.
The facts are that you talk about lineage all day. You just agreed that it's against the scroll, bro. That's the facts, yeah?
No.
You
bro,
don't?
No, listen, no.
You don't?
No. I told
You
you the
don't?
reasons why we talking about race. I gave you my reasons why I'm
Why?
dealing with it.
Okay, so I'm waiting for
Reasons
somebody,
why
I'm waiting
I'm
for somebody
dealing
to challenge me on my lineage, bro.
Because what? Listen, bro.
I'm waiting for somebody to challenge me on my lineage, bro.
Bro,
Why is it like if I can talk to you, I can talk to Sister Cherry, I can bring in my lineage and it's cool. The tone change is all day. But let's say, oh, I get my Israelite from my father's side. Oh my God, it'd be a trip, bro. It'd be a trip, bro. Why is that?
What are you talking about? I just told you my reasons.
I'll tell you right now. Listen, ever, bro.
Listen, bro.
Not once.
I'm telling you the basis why we're talking about this information. You said is DNA a waste of time? And I said, yeah, personally, I do believe it's a waste of time. But I'm telling you why we're dealing with it. What was the reasons why we're dealing with it? Because you have a group of people with racial and hatred motives who are using this as a foundation to spread lies. No, it's not. Bro,
then show me the doctrine.
What are you talking about? It's all wrapped into the Israelite doctrine.
Show me the doctrine, bro. Because again, like I told you, we could go to all the doctrines. We can talk about the doctrine specific. We can go to all the doctrines specific. I'm asking you, show me the doctrine with Sister E and with Dante, bro.
I'm telling you, I told you that.
No, you didn't. What did you tell me? Come again like I'm stupid.
Let me speak, man. I tell you.
Tell me again like I'm stupid because I ain't heard nothing, bro.
If you look at One West doctrine,
they're not One West.
Listen, bro, you can say that all day.
Okay, so you're saying they're One West. Gotcha.
No, listen to me. Are
they One West or not, Kevin?
That didn't come out my mouth.
Are they One West or not? So why are we talking about One West?
They don't listen because you.
Why are we talking about them? Are they One West?
All right, bro, I gotta mute you because you clearly not letting me speak.
Bro, are they One West or not, bro? It's real simple. Grown man talk.
No,
are they One West?
They don't call themselves One West.
Are you saying they're One West? It's simple, bro.
No, I'm not saying they One West.
So why are we talking about One West, Kevin?
All right, bro, I gotta put you out of here, man, because you're not letting me speak. I just told you they're not claiming to be One West. However, when you look at the things that they're doing, they have a One West tone to them. I don't get what you don't get about that. When you have One West on the street, they the ones cursing and showing the other races a degree of hatred and racial tones that should not be spoken about that the Bible does not agree with. So when you deal with these people such as Sister E, when you deal with these people such as Dante Fortson's and some of these other people, they are also responding to people of a different race with hatred and racial tones. That's not allowed. So the reason why we're talking about genetics is not because it's important in the sense of salvation or anything. It's because it is one of the foundations that they use as a platform to spread the lies. So therefore, these are one of the areas that we're contending with to show that that's not true or to disprove their stance on what they're saying. So, bro, you got to get up out of here with that, man. No, he's not reasonable. You're not reasonable when somebody's speaking and you're trying to speak over them, talking about what they saying. You can't take what I'm my argument and sit there and say, this is what it's saying, and that's not what it is. We have proof that these people have used hatred and racial tones towards these individuals that aren't black. That's not necessary. He's sitting there trying to argue on their behalf for like, well, if they want to do that, I don't see no racism in that, man. Bro, that's your own ignorance. And if you say that it's not your opinion that it is, then okay, let your opinion be your opinion. But the majority of people see what's going on, or else they wouldn't be responding to it. So Joshua, my apologies. If you have anything to say, that's up to you. But
no, I don't even know. Not even know what you guys are talking about. I don't know the people involved. I found I was just literally one day looking up like Jewish history videos or some or Israelite history videos and came across some stuff and I stumbled upon this. And I figured I'd join just for that purpose, but I try not to get involved in the drama and all that.
This brother just said in the chat, Kevin, you tripping hard. So Sister E and them are One West now. I just said they are not One West. That's not what I said. What I said was, when you look at the dealings and the attitude and energy of One West people, you can see it in this group as well. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they ain't One West, but the response to people of other races is very One West-like. That's what I'm saying. You can't sit up there on the corner and say to a person, or somebody else is trying to get it. You can't sit up on the corner on the street and tell a person you're the devil that the Bible speak of, and have these racial tones toward them and this hatred towards them as though they're not like that's not required, and that's not necessary. That's unbiblical. So then when we look at this group here in regards to Dante and the rest of them, you can see that him and his group support the opinion that is vaguely resembling that of the One West camps. And that's a biasness towards those who are of another race. Not no way of saying, okay, well, this is our community and this and that and other. So respectfully.
But that's not true.
Hold on, bro. Hold on a second. So you're still saying to them respectfully, okay, this is our community. This is what we want to deal with. We don't want to deal with y'all. So respectfully, we want to go ahead and deal with this. The basis of the arguments has always started off with doctrine. And when that argument of doctrine came up, guess what? It was met by racial response. So I don't know where y'all get that from. I don't know where.
You gotta stop saying One West doctrine like the One West doctrine holds the whole argument about Israel. People was claiming to be Jews since the time of Spain. So why we keep talking about One West like they hold the whole doctrine of blacks being Israelites in America?
Right. So obviously, brother, you didn't hear what I said. I didn't say the identity of One West came from One West. I said the practice of racial biasness came from One West.
I used to be down with One West, and I could tell you that the people that you claiming that's getting that from One West, I don't see the similarities at all.